Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel where Sportitos talk about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades. Survivor, I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
I would like to congratulate Martin.
Yeah, he got the winner pick.
And the one and only winner pick.
Yeah.
And also, I suppose the congratulations to you, Joel. You got farther than me.
Congrats, Joel.
By just one.
Holy shit, man.
Anyway, we also have with us, of course, Jao already introduced him, but anyway, the man with a thought. That's the one and only and victorious. Martin. How are you, Martin?
Martin!
I stuck to the plan. Keith. It worked, Keith. It worked. It worked.
Okay. Anyway, tonight the council will take a look at the finale of Survivor season 44, entitled Absolute Banger Season. But before we proceed, we hope that you could click on the like button, and so you get notified whenever we have new stuff on the channel. Subscribe to the Laro-Laro channel. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start with the highs. Of course, let's start with the guy who got it right. Martz, what is your highest of highs?
My highest of high is that Jam win. Survivor 44. He got it right. No, just kidding. I'm pretty happy. Like, I didn't get what I wanted, like the Tika tree, but hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a good high. The trio stuck with their plan. Had the Heidi, lost, it would have been all 3 of them. So they stuck together. That's a good high on me. The trio stuck together through thick or thin, through an impending blowout between Jam or Carolyn or something else. So I think that's my first high, how the trio still stuck in the end.
Mm. Yeah, there was the time in final 5 where we were kind of getting the feeling, at least I was getting the feeling that Carolyn might switch, might flip, right? Because during that immunity / reward challenge, she was getting talked to by both Lauren and Heidi, and when Carson and Jam came back, she had this line, "We need a Tika in the jury." Right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like giving me some vibes, and then she was doing the finger. She was wagging the finger at Jam. Right? She wasn't giving him the finger. She was wagging the finger at Jam. Yeah. It was so weird. It was what were your thoughts while that was happening?
It was a nail biter. Like, Carolyn, no, you're so close. Don't do this. Don't do. And thank God, cooler heads prevailed. But final 4, someone else won, so she had to take someone out. And I like Rob Sesternino's tweet on that. Like, Heidi won season 43.
Wait, so why did he say that Heidi won season 43? Oh, because she won fire?
Yeah. What was the hit on last season about that?
Right, because Cassidy didn't make fire, and so the jury was telling her, like, you should have made fire against Jesse if you were to take you seriously in Final Tribal, and she was pretty salty about that. Even to this day, I believe she was pretty salty about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So ironically, had that been the previous season, Heidi would have won. But not this season.
She probably would have won.
Well, I think that's
the case for 43 was always because they were all too similar, and it was Jesse who was standing out. That's why whoever could take out Jesse. I mean, they were all not similar. They weren't playing the same games, but if you were going to rank them, they were all the same rank. If you were to evaluate their game, they were all the same at the same level. Let's say out of 10, they were all at a 7 or an 8. and Jesse was at the 9. So whoever took out Jesse would be the one to 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 win it in the end, and that's why Gabler won it in the end. But this season, had it uh, winning fire couldn't really propel Heidi enough to get past the relationships. I think that Jam Jam was able to form with the jury.
That's true.
Right?
Like there's actually a larger conversation about this in the sort of Survivor fan community about whether or not the final 4 fire making into a final 3 has run its course. Like, is it time to go back to a final 2? All of that sort of thing, and maybe that's like a good topic for another one of our episodes where we kind of evaluate some of the twists in Survivor. This fire making, right? Like there is a contingent of very vocal fans out there who really couldn't care less for the fire making challenge or the forced fire making as the way to get to the final 3.
But I don't know. I don't think it's just that. Maybe it was Heidi's performance also in the final tribal that may have cost her some votes, like over talking.
Yeah, well, actually, I have that in the lows later on.
Later, we can go there later. But yeah, like this talk about the fire making, Jao. What were they saying? The other side, like they are adamantly for a winner out of the one who won that fire making, or
it's just there doesn't seem to be, apart from Jeff, right? Like a big pro fire making group out there, or there aren't a lot of people that take to the internet to express their love for fire making. I mean, you know how it is, right? With any fandom on the internet, right? It's like the loudest voices are always the ones that don't like the thing. Whereas people who do like something won't
don't
be
really
vocal,
say anything.
Won't be vocal about it because they like it the way that it is. But yeah, there is a conversation out there about Final 4 fire not being competitive, that it's run its course.
Right when Heidi made like the fastest fire ever.
I know, right?
Like 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Actually, part of that would be my high. I know I wanted the trio to stay, right?
Sorry, Munch, you're a little soft on my end.
Sorry, like while that's slightly gonna be a low later, for me, that's also a high that Heidi did win that one. You know why?
Why?
Okay. After so many challenges won by a 3D printed puzzle, Carson couldn't finally, for all the preparation, pre-show, during the show with Jam Jam, it took fire for someone to out-puzzle him.
Yeah. Did you guys see that meme that came out about how Carson prepared for fire making?
No, I didn't see that.
The picture of the meme was a 3D printed puzzle of fire that was put together.
I mean, I feel sad for Carson, but dear God, see, that's something your 3D printer can prepare you.
Yeah. Well, speaking about how Carson was trying to prepare for fire, I think the fact that Jam Jam, this is one of my highs, Jam Jam helping Carson with making fire. I think in the end that is what pushed him towards leaning towards voting for Jam Jam over Carolyn.
That's true.
Aside, of course, from the fact that Jam Jam won that final tribal, he was very good at that final tribal. That having that core memory, I would say that was a core memory for Carson to see a competitor help him out to try and give him a shot in fire making.
That's true.
That would have, I think, given Jam Jam the edge, because if you think about it, Carolyn has been saying that, okay, you're my son, but we never saw her try to help Carson making fire. They knew that he had difficulty making fire, but it was Jam Jam who came and helped Carson with fire making.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me that was one of the things that got Jam Jam the vote specifically of Carson.
Well, like to piggyback off of that, that's my highest of highs. The scene where Jam Jam was like teaching Carson how to make fire. It was just so heartwarming. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
nice. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. It's one of those. It's one of those almost brought me to tears moments. That just shows how much of a sentimental, like, dude I am, right? Like that nearly brought me to tears. And I know there's a lot of crossover with wrestling, just like how the Usos did that thing during Night of Champions that brought me to tears. Like, you know, it's that sort of family sort of dynamic is something that
Going
really
beyond the
gets me.
game.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing that really gets me, and it was executed just so well. You know,
Mhm.
they could have made it corny, right? They could have made it they could have edited it in such a way that it looks like a Rocky montage or whatever. Like it could have just as easily been something like that.
Mm.
But instead they decided to hit the emotional notes instead
Yeah.
of hitting the action beats. And that was
Oh, yeah.
that was like my highest of the high. The Tika 3 preparing for potential fire making, right? Even the interactions between Jam Jam and
And
Carolyn,
Carolyn. Yeah.
right? When they were, it was like a sibling rivalry sort of thing.
Mm.
Like, we we have brothers, right? We know what that's like,
Mhm.
and that was another like highest of the high. So that sequence where Jam Jam and Carolyn were preparing for fire, and where Jam Jam and Carson were, well, where Jam Jam was teaching Carson how to make fire,
Mm.
or how to do fire better. Like, yeah, highest of highs. Um, One of the best moments of the season. Um, the only thing better is, well, yeah, I suppose instead of having this for our season as a whole, um, the the confessional with Carolyn is probably the best thing about the season.
Which one? The callback?
Yeah, the
Or the
callback.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the
That was
callback
nice.
was the best like thing of the season, but like of the episode, um, it was the fire making, or not the
Mm.
fire making, the fire sequence.
The fire making practice sequence.
Yes.
There you go. And it ended with it technically ended with Heidi making fire in no time, but it
Yeah.
came off to me. It came off weird. I'll talk a little bit more about it later. But yeah, it came off a little bit weird the way that she did that. Yeah. Any other highs on your side, Marts?
For me, well, it's always a high for me to see
Sorry, you're
the
soft again, man.
it's always a high for me to see like the jury speak finally after a few episodes of just watching in the sidelines, especially the past few jurors, because I don't feel any bitterness like
Really?
in
So
this.
not even season 43? You don't feel that they were bitter?
Oh no, even
season
man.
season 42. God, season 42 was like the most bitter, dude.
Like, are you compared to the snakes and the rats, or Corinne saying you are like unemployed something something, to sugar. This is
Yeah.
quite tame, guys. Well, you can say
Yeah.
not bitter. Yeah. Have you seen the first 40 seasons?
So relatively.
Relatively. This is the
Okay.
nicest set of juries ever yet.
You know, there was there's that thing, the like continuity, or sort of the thematic thing that has that connects 41, 42, and 43 and 44 are yeah, we say it's the cast and the twists, but I like to think of it as for the new era of Survivor, the theme is everybody likes each other, so all the drama comes from the game instead of each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I to a certain extent I do agree with Martin that the jury and is for the most part the casts have been nice to each other, outside of that thing that we found out online about what happened in Ponderosa, right? About
yeah,
Drea and
Omer.
Omar. But for the most part, the casts of the new era have been really nice to each other. There's genuine camaraderie, I would say, among the castaways, and for me, it showed up even here, and especially in the reunion part of the episode where they were also happy for each other. They were also happy for Jam Jam. They were also supportive. I mean, Franny was able to articulate to tell Carolyn straight up about how she inspired her with the way that she was unapologetically being herself, and Lauren also chimed in on that, and the almost the entire group was so supportive of the Manny Showmans, right? It was so cute to see all of them just like chanting Manny, Manny, and to have Danny, the guy who aside from Brandon, who would probably be the tough guy in this group, being the one who to say all of those nice things about that showmans, the Manny Showmans. That was just something so different, right? I don't think that we would have seen that in the previous era. I mean, nobody. I don't think. Martin, you can remind us when the Rob and Amber thing happened. Were the rest of the cast okay with it?
Oh no! Oh no!
Right. But that was mostly also because they didn't like Rob. Right?
Yeah, they like Amber. They just hate Rob.
Yeah, Amber was okay, but they thought that she was just riding on the coattails of Rob, and they were bitter towards Rob. That's why they gave Amber the win, right?
The win, yeah.
Little did they know that they were gonna end up together.
Rob just played the long game. Like literally the long game. Like they had to do like Amazing Race together first, and then they they finally get the wedding, even though he proposed at the reunion show at All Stars. Wasn't that fast.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. The casts. I wouldn't say they aren't bitter, especially during the vote. We've seen that in 43 and 42. But in general, everyone, the entire cast, or at least the jury in the final three, they all like each other, right?
Okay,
Not enough to just flat out give the win to whoever, but the win, voting for whoever would win was still dictated by their feelings at the moment. But outside of that, all of the the new era casts genuinely like each other, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is where I want to ask now, because not only it's about the casting, was it about the formatting of the final tribal councils? Because it's not about everyone speaks their piece. Do you think them not having to speak their respective pieces help
Oh,
on
not
that
being
one?
required to
Yeah,
talk or anything like that.
yeah. And just specify like,
Maybe,
is
but
this
then again,
outwit,
the
outlast,
people who would have,
out, something. Out.
yeah, I'm
Oh my
sorry,
god.
maybe, but the
Outplay.
people who would have had the most bitterness would have been Danny. Danny wasn't
Yeah.
really. I mean, he wasn't really participating that much. He just asked Heidi to expound
Yeah. Expound.
how she used him, right?
Mm.
But yeah, and overall, there wasn't really much, especially with this. Where I'm speaking
44.
directly
Yeah.
about season 44.
Mm.
Uh, I didn't sense any bitterness, in fact, from any of the jurors, and maybe, yeah, Brandon and Jamie didn't talk. They
Oh.
didn't get to ask any other questions. They didn't make any statements.
I'm
But
sure
then
they did, but it was probably just cut
I've
out for
probably
time.
just not included. Yeah.
Like whatever it was they asked or had to say was probably already addressed in another like answer. Like it
Mm.
wasn't adding anything. The answers to their questions probably didn't add anything new to
Mm.
the story of why Jam Jam won.
Yeah.
At least I'm assuming that's what it is. Like this was Survivor Productions last big, like, let's do Jamie dirty by cutting out whatever it is that
Oh,
she
wow.
had to say during Final Tribal.
Okay, now I gotta ask. You think they did cut her off again? Oh my
Yeah, because
god.
she hardly had anything said anything actually, or we hardly heard
Oh
her say
man.
anything in the
And
episode.
I'm pretty sure that they had questions, they made statements, but whatever it was probably didn't add to the storytelling, which is what you should be doing when you're telling a story, right? You
Mm.
cut all of the extraneous like fat.
Mm.
Um, but I just can't help but feel bad for Jamie again.
But then again, she did have that moment during the reunion when Jeff revealed to her that the idol that she had wasn't real. So yeah, and she called it the biggest twist of all time off camera.
About time.
Gonna I'm going to speak Cebuano. Uya by Hano.
For those who do not speak Cebuano, that means poor woman.
Yeah.
Poor woman. Yeah.
But it,
Uh,
it has it has different it has a different connotation and hits differently when spoken
yeah,
in the
it's
vernacular.
different. It hits differently when
But
spoken in
you know,
in Visaya.
well, Jamie is
Yeah.
a bit is
Any
a
other
sport
highs on
on
your
this,
side, Joe?
so
Oh wait, wait. Martz, what were you saying?
at least Jamie's a good sport about all of this. I hope, and I hope she
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
feel like she was done
like
dirty on
she's really
SOCMED and
a
stuff.
positive person.
So yeah, like kudos to her. Like wow, all that edit, and I bet she's still like all sunshine and rainbows online about this. But
Yeah.
I do
We'll see
hope.
later on if she comes out with a tell all
Oh no,
how
oh
everything like
no.
screwed her over.
Yeah, the editors. How dare you? How dare
When she appears on like one of the deep dives,
Yeah. Or
Rod
say
has a podcast or something. Like when she does one of the recaps for Survivor 45, we'll get a feel for how she really feels,
Yeah.
not being caught up in the emotions of the moment.
So
Yeah.
will there be a
Uh,
lot of cuts like the Omer? Nah, just kidding. Just
anyway,
That is amazing.
um,
Anyway, any other
Yeah.
highs on your
Anyway.
side,
Anyway.
Joe?
Yeah.
Jam Jam's final tribal performance.
Mm,
Like since we're there, right? Like masterful.
yes.
Jam Jam is just so good. Like one of in the new era, right? And, at least um, the past 4 seasons, steam rice, the past 4 seasons, um, I thought that I thought that the best performance was Marianne, and
Marianne.
then I now think that Jam Jam's performance was better than Marianne's, because let's Heidi had a case. Carolyn had a
Theoretically had a case, but
had a
she
case.
couldn't articulate it.
Yeah, but even if she wasn't able to articulate it, if Jam Jam was equally as unable to articulate how well he played the game as Carolyn, the vote would have been split. This was you know how when we talk about how Hoboken Mike lost in Final Tribal.
Yeah.
This, I think, is the example of Jam Jam winning at Final Tribal. Because he was so good. Like, I don't know. He's just so likable, and that type of person that can tell you to your face that you're being a dick, and you'd be like, "Yes, I am." Like I'm sure we had those great teachers back in high school or college that could tell you that you're gonna fail their class and you will thank them for it. Like Jam Jam is that kind of person,
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And that's like the pinnacle of social play in Survivor.
Exactly. He was able to disarm everyone with the way that he sort of jokes around. And all of a sudden, when he actually explains how he used emotions, for example, emotions, I have them, I have many of them, and how he used emotions to figure out when people were lying or when they were telling the truth. That superpower of his, listening to, looking at whenever the people he was talking to had twinkles in their eyes, and he knew that they were saying the truth. It really, it was just one of the many ways of that Jam Jam was able to really win this jury. I mean, even Franny said that Jam Jam swayed her. I'm sure that had Jam Jam not performed the way that he did, she would have been voting for Carolyn.
Yeah, right? Straight up. So it was one of those, all things being equal, the votes would have been more split between Jam Jam and Carolyn, but Jam Jam won Final Tribal. The sort of inverse of Hoboken Mike losing Tribal in 42. Yeah. It's I don't know if it's common across like a lot of the former Spanish colonies, but the way that Jam Jam disarms people with humor and that sort of thing, it was quite common in the office that in the school that I used to teach at, when there were instances where we needed fraternal correction in the faculty. Like it was always couched in humor. It was always sort of like a sarcastic joke that you kind of knew meant that, like, maybe you should stop doing that, or like it's something that in a way I can quite relate to. And maybe it's just the Spanish colonies, or maybe it's just Cebu is closer to Puerto Rico in terms of culture. I don't know. I don't know. But it was something that it's something that I was able to relate to in a way. Using humor to diffuse a situation where fraternal correction is needed. in the context of Survivor, using humor as a way to diffuse the situation, right? Like the awkwardness of, you know, having your name being thrown out there.
Yeah. Yeah, then after that, whoever you're talking to becomes more receptive to whatever it is you're trying to say because they're more relaxed.
Yeah.
That was how Jam Jam did it. He made the jury relax by using the humor about your name kept getting brought up. Maybe I thought it was because I was pretty, right? And then everyone laughs, ah, and then he comes up with actually his actual point.
Yeah.
Right? And then they become receptive because their minds are relaxed. Their state of mind is relaxed. So they see immediately how what Jam Jam was trying to say.
Yeah, it was like his final tribal performance had shades of Gabler and also
Mm,
shades of Marianne,
mm,
right? Like, you know, the charming, disarming presence of Mike Gabler with the rigor, I guess you can call it,
mm.
and sort of um eloquence of
Of
Marianne,
Marianne.
right? Like the way that she explained the strategic social game, well, the way she explained her strategic game was similar to the way that Jam Jam
Yeah,
explained his social game in that way, but he had the same sort of disarming charm that Mike Gabler did,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
So yeah, kudos to Jam Jam. He deserved the win because of the not only because of the way that he's performed throughout the entire 26 days, but that performance during the final tribal just like hammered home the point that he deserves to be the winner of season 44. Right?
and looking at everybody else on that jury, nobody could have beaten him.
Nobody could have
Like
beaten him. Not even
any final three,
no, yeah.
right? Any
With
final
that
three would have been.
performance, none of them could have no.
So that's my high, man. Like
Yeah.
Jam Jam. This is already giving away my Survivor of the Week.
Survivor of the week. Uh, Speaking of, well, congratulations to Martin for getting that winner pick. Going back to my original winner pick. I just want to say that one of my highs is Kane sticking to the theme, and saying that he wanted to see sword and shield.
Yes.
Yeah, the allusion to the theme that
yes.
until the final minute of season 44 did not really have much of a payoff in in the gameplay.
I'm sorry,
So
Kane.
yeah, so I don't know what's but yeah,
John, yeah.
kudos to Kane for sticking to that. That's why he was my winner pick because he's got that fantasy medieval thing going for him, and unfortunately he didn't. Unfortunately, Jam Jam derailed this game
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually.
and got him on the jury. Yeah.
That's true.
Any other highs, Marts?
Oh well, we got it wrong on the banger of a season. We thought it was either Jeff or Kane. It was one of our boys, though. It was Matt.
Right.
Yeah.
So a high on that one. I we got it wrong, but hey, at least it was Matt.
Mm.
I'll take that as a win.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a high.
We keep forgetting that. Yeah, the jurors do get like a confessional, especially in the
Mm.
final episode.
That's actually my high. The 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 fact that they're continuing the jurors giving their thoughts on the final episode right before final tribal, it gives a lot more context
Mm-hmm.
to final tribal, like, you know, what they're looking for, where the votes might go, who who needs to do what uh in order to win, right? Like that was how we got again, that was how we see Mike Gabler, not Mike Gabler, Hoboken Mike, like, you know, dropping dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Like the reason that it was so clear to us was because of I guess people call it a twist, right? Having those little confessionals right before tribal with the jury, and like I really like those. I really like those. Get to see the people in the jury actually talking, you know,
Mhm.
in a way that isn't necessarily combative. It's as an Asian. I'm gonna do that as a insert thing that you are here. Very popular on the internet. Survivor did it first, right? Because it's always like as a millennial, as a
As
as
a
a as a brains, as a brawn, um, but like as an Asian, I kind of like that, like something that we like to do here is we like to talk. Um, we don't feel comfortable talking directly.
Mm.
If that makes sense, you
Mhm.
know, it's like if we, this is why we need things like humor. Um, but sometimes if we want to tell something to somebody, we will tell somebody else in the presence of the person we should be talking to,
Mhm.
because we aren't very good at direct communication,
Mhm.
and seeing that kind of, I guess, quote unquote communication come out is something that um tickles my Asian brain, like, yeah, this is how we communicate,
Yeah.
in a way, like in a way, right? I know that the analog isn't one to one, but hearing somebody talk about somebody else is um very Asian.
Mm.
uh at its best, it is reinforcing community. At its worst, it is chismis. It is gossip.
it is marites. It is marites.
And as spectators, what those confessionals also give us is it gives us what to expect
Yeah.
from, well, you mentioned it, like, right, it gives us a way to frame uh what's happening in tribal. Because if we
Mm.
know that they were expecting, say for example, going back to Hoboken Mike, if we know that they were expecting Hoboken Mike to own up to his what he did, the less than noble things that he did,
Mm.
right? And then we find out during final tribal that he doesn't own up to it. We know immediately, okay, that's his downfall,
Oh,
right? And even for this episode, I don't quite remember who said it. I think it was Franny who said, and it was her question, right? The thing about strategic and emotional.
Emotions.
Yeah, strategy and emotions. And where she was one of the people who talked about Carolyn, and
Mm.
she wanted Carolyn to be able to express how she was able to use her emotions in in her strategy, right? And
Mm.
she singled out Carolyn. She wanted Carolyn to start answering when she asked the question. She wanted Carolyn to be the first to answer, because she was sort of helping Carolyn to, okay, come on,
Yeah.
lay your cards out on the table for us. How you are a very emotional player. How did you use your emotion and strategy?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Carolyn couldn't quite articulate it well enough, and Jam Jam was able to find a seam to get into and use that same question to really to really articulate his own strategy,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, and I think that Heidi's answer to that question was like, what question are you answering?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it
Uh,
was like, okay, all right,
I
yeah,
suppose we should save those for the things that didn't make us feel as high.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I do have one last yeah, that's I have one last
Mm.
high. I love the fact that despite the fact that they were together for the longest, Jam Jam and Carolyn were the last two to know. to discover that Carson worked for NASA.
Yeah.
And their
Oh my
reaction to it
god.
was so precious. NASA? What?
What?
And then
You're
Carolyn
an
afterwards
aerospace
approached.
engineer?
Yeah, Carolyn afterwards approaches her son. You work for NASA? Oh, that was so cute.
Yeah.
The fact that they were so close the entire time, all 25 days, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
on the island, and well, not no, not 25 days because Carson got swapped over to Ratu. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah, so yeah, they were like the closest trio. They all stayed hiding in plain sight as a group, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
and yeah, it was so cute to see the reaction of both Jam Jam and Carolyn, the two who were closest to Carson, reacting to that revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other highs on your side, guys?
Uh
Um,
yeah, I mean the episode I quite liked it.
Yeah.
It was good. Like I alluded to earlier, the highest point of the season was the callback to the first was a callback to the opening
The
shot of
first.
the
Oh yeah.
season, right? Like, we'll talk about that in another episode.
Hmm.
Um Suffice it to say, it was the best thing about the season, and they should never do it again.
True.
Um, I had another thing that another thing that was a high,
Mm.
the the immunity idol.
oh.
It
Okay.
was on a tree
Hmm.
that was high.
Ah.
And in a way that was also set up earlier on in the show when Carolyn was climbing the tree, and
Mm.
we were like, when she found a snake or whatever it was, right? It was
Yeah,
like,
it was a snake. Yeah.
yeah, it was like, oh, what, climbing up the tree. At the time, it felt like such a useless scene. We thought it was like, I mean, yeah, sure, for building her character, but
Yeah.
narratively, or in terms of like the plot, quote unquote, of the season, it was setting up this thing, or at least that's how it felt to me. That
Mm.
a lot of the conversation around idols and where they're hidden is that it's usually like on the ground, or within like eye level.
Hmm.
That's always those are always the tips that are given by former survivors, right? Like, when going out idol hunting, the tips are like, look at where the camera operators are pointing the cameras other than where you are, because they might be taking the shot of, oh, look at the idiot not finding the idol. um
The
the
obvious
other
idol.
Yeah, right, like the one with the one with Cody, the choose your champion advantage. Ooh.
Mm.
um but the other piece of advice that they usually give is, it's usually eye level, and it's usually like on the ground or whatever. And Carolyn going up, climbing a tree, was like, oh, haha, what a what is she doing? I thought you were like a super fan. Like, and everybody knows that idols aren't hidden up in trees. And once again, Carolyn is proven right.
Several times throughout the season, she has been proven right. It's just that everybody underestimates what she does.
Yeah, and the one time that she didn't climb the tree to find the idol was the time that the idol was in the tree. Like, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
I want to.
but
Okay.
for me, it's a high that nobody actually found it,
Yes, for
because
sure.
having an idol that late in the game would have been OP for me, right?
Yes.
You get a ticket into to Final Four, so I'm glad that nobody found it. uh, and that way a lot more onus was on how people were strategizing with each other rather than
Yeah,
using a twist
yeah,
or an idol to dictate how things were gonna go.
yeah. It was actually quite good that they didn't find it because there was because we were told by Jeff, right? Like Jeff did mention to everybody that there was an idol on that island, and
Mm,
you know, I suppose they hid it well enough such that if you found it, like you were putting in the work
yeah.
or you were thinking laterally or whatever. And I suppose that was what they were trying to reward. But like as you said, it is a very good thing that they didn't find it.
Mm,
You know, uh, another high was this is also literally another like high, Samotion, the
Oh,
like
okay.
them talking about the view, like
mm,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just because I like looking at views, but you know, to actually call it out and be like, yeah, you know, this is, you know, quite a beautiful thing. Like admiring the beauty of nature at the end of a journey. It's like after making a long hike
mhm.
up a mountain and you know looking at the view. It's like that, only multiply that by 25. You know,
Yeah. What would
and
have
just
made it better probably would have been if they were actually facing the view while they
yeah,
were doing the challenge. But then again, that would have been production hell. How
Yeah.
they would set up the camera
drone
on the
shot.
cliff,
Oh
right? And they would
no.
be on a drone shot the entire time. I don't know how that would have worked, but that would have been the best uh, for the contestants, of course, for the castaways,
Yeah.
for us viewers, spectators. We see the view and we see what's happening. So I guess that it was made for that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And well, a tiny little detail as well on Emotion that I noticed that I found so funny.
Mm,
Um, so you have all of the cast, or you have all of the
Yep.
players, um, under the sun, of
mhm.
course, for
Yeah, I
light,
saw that too.
etc., etc. And then you had Jeff
Jeff in the
under a tree.
shade. I was like, ooh, Jeff, pulling the
uh,
producer card, not wanting
hey,
to get sun on him.
his life is fine.
You know? It was like when he was talking about when he was talking about yeah, we saved this for the last because like you know I see the beautiful view where you come from. Like shut up, man, you just want the shade.
uh,
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, ooh, Jeff. Anyway, Marts, any other highs?
nope.
Nope. Okay. What about you, Joe? Anything else?
I don't know if this counts as the highs of the episode, but the Sia money winners.
Oh
Mm,
well, let's
Mm.
post the episode. We can
mm.
talk about that.
It is. It is. Am I right? It's Carolyn and Carson, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, during
Yeah.
their interviews, right, Rob?
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, we can talk about that in
We can
another
talk about
episode.
that. We can talk about that a little bit more later on. Let's go over to our lows. Do you guys have any lows? Let's start with Marts.
I have, but I want to hear yours because you mentioned it earlier
No,
about
go on. Go on.
hiding.
Start with yours, man.
No, I'm thinking about mine first. So
Hmm? Go on. What's
no,
yours?
you guys go on first.
No, no, no. Go on. Go on. Start with yours.
I'm still thinking.
I'm thinking Martin doesn't have any lows,
Yeah.
and he's racking his brain to find lows. So I suppose,
So if I
I suppose,
insist, unless we cut off this video, yeah, I
suppose we let
insist. I
Martin.
insist.
I suppose we let Martin not have any lows
Yeah.
because,
All right.
admittedly, I had to rack my brain to find lows
Mm,
other than, um, Carolyn's
Cool.
final tribal performance and Heidi's
mhm.
final tribal performance.
Yeah.
Like you know, those were. I was like, oh, Carolyn at the at the 11th hour, dropping the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
like, great. It was um, I don't know. It just
Yeah.
felt, it just felt really bad. But then to to Martin's lack of lows, he was, Jam Jam was, after all, Martin's winner pick. So, with Carolyn with Carolyn not performing as well as Jam Jam, I'm sure Martin was like, "This is my high." So
Well, I'm just sitting here like watching my one and only winner pick win. So
Okay.
but it
Now
was
you know
it
how
was
I felt in season 43. Yeah.
so this is what victory feels like.
For me though, I mean I know
Yeah.
that we already mentioned this in previous episodes, but I just don't like how they're trying to shoehorn that whole the sanctuary where good things happen. It's such a shoehorned thing to, they
Yeah.
really want to make it happen. They really want people to think that the sanctuary is all that good. And even on No Buffs, on the No Buffs episode right after the finale, they did mention something similar to what we said in a previous episode, where soon
Yeah.
enough there's gonna be a sanctuary food chain that pops up somewhere, and it's gonna be sanctuary where good things happen. Uh,
are the people from No Buffs listening to us? We
I'm not sure. Hopefully, yeah.
we've
Uh,
we've we've liked you since the starters.
yeah.
Not me. I'm glad you guys improved to no buffs. Yeah, just like
Yeah,
two
so
decades
so
of
I
Yahoo
really don't,
Sports hate.
I really don't quite like how they're trying so hard
Yeah,
to make
man.
the sanctuary where good things happen
So Joel, is
work.
this like someone trying to make fetch happen for you?
Something what something trying to make what?
Is this like your stop making fetch happen moment? It's like
I do not get the illusion, Marts. I'm sorry.
okay. Because I think it's a movie called Mean Girls, and someone is trying to
Oh,
make
I'm sorry.
fetch a thing. So
I've
yeah,
never seen Mean Girls. I hear that it's a really good film.
yeah.
But I've never watched it, unfortunately.
They're trying to make things happen here. That's good, but sadly, no. And I'm sorry about that. Just
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people like it, but I don't know. I don't. That's why it's a low for me.
the them
indeed.
trying to make it's kind of corny, right?
Yeah, it really is, and they're shoehorning it in into everything. Just like how Jeff was trying to get everyone to say, you know what, apply to apply to be part of Survivor. I mean, I'd like to apply, but we can't. We're not residents of the US or Canada. Uh but yeah, the entire time he was like, "Oh, so yeah, those of you who think that that's easy." Yeah, we're talking about Carolyn
Hmm.
not being anything during challenges, during the physical challenges. Those of you who don't think it's easy, you know what? You should apply to see how it really is. And then Heidi chimes in later on. That's why that's why we're here, because we applied, because you told us to apply. I'm like, trying so hard. It's too hard a sell. It's just like the sanctuary where good things happen. It's too hard a sell. Show it to us. Don't keep telling us all about it. All right?
They need somebody with a story like Suri. They need another Suri,
Yeah.
basically, like somebody that was,
Got up off the
Yeah,
couch,
off the couch and
applied. Yeah.
yeah. We need somebody else that has that sort of story, not
maybe.
somebody whose sob story is, "Oh, I used to be a fat kid, and now I'm on Survivor." This is, of course, talking about Xander,
Mm.
right? Because like he had the least sobby of sob stories in the new era. His sob story was, "I was a fat kid," you know. Um, anyway, yeah. I get the feeling that like they're trying to brand the sanctuary where good things happen. They're trying to make a brand out of the sanctuary. Of course, they might want to open a restaurant at some point, but the more practical, show-related thing is it becomes more of a thing even without a sponsor. Like
Mm.
that's my thought on it, right?
So it's not like
It's
the Arby's spot or whatever.
yeah,
It's
or
just the sanctuary. It can be like the sanctuary can be like their theme park.
yeah,
Later on, like in real life, I mean, in the US, they'll
I
open the
see. Yeah.
sanctuary, and they'll have all of the Survivor memorabilia all around, right? Where
yeah.
good things happen, where Survivor happens,
What's
right?
the what's the name of that restaurant that's themed like a rainforest or whatever?
No. There's one.
Yeah,
Is
the
it here or
Rainforest
somewhere
Cafe
else?
in the U.S. in the U.S.
Oh,
Oh,
I wouldn't
I
know.
wouldn't know. I've never
Sorry.
been. So
Yeah, yeah. I would think that could be another, or
mm,
that could be a reason. Like if I were on the show, that's something that I would be pushing for. Like brand the sanctuary as something that is desirable. That way we don't have to rely on Arby's or like
yeah.
Chili's or
Mm.
whatever. Um, what was it? It wasn't TGI Fridays. It was
Jack and Jill,
yeah,
the Adam Sandler movie.
whatever
Uh,
whatever the most recent sponsorship tie-in was.
yeah. Well, yeah, I do see that. Yeah, I can see that. It's just that they don't have to say it every episode, every time. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. You just say that it's a sanctuary. They go to the sanctuary. You don't need to include the tagline every single freaking time.
And you don't have to tell the kind Fijian ladies who are about to be tortured by the smell of like 25-day-old feet. Um you don't have to get them to say it as well.
Yeah,
Where good things happen.
yeah.
One
And
of
and
the
and the way that Jeff says it, sanctuary, where good things happen. So dramatic. So like, I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
You could just say, okay, you're going to the sanctuary. And then you
Yeah.
have a cut to Carson's reaction face,
Oh,
shocked face.
I love his reaction face. It's like the
Right?
fakest thing ever.
Yeah. Right. So
That's
yeah.
another thing that former survivors tell people to do, like have the biggest reaction to the rewards, that way you get screen time.
So anytime like Jeff mentions rewards, you run around,
Basically, right? Like,
right?
you
Screaming.
Yeah,
That'll
great
get the
way to
screen
get
time.
screen time. Sort of like that life hack. If you are in a big group of people and
Mm.
somebody is going to take a picture, go as far to the right as you possibly can. Be the person on the right
Oh,
On the
most if you
edge,
can. Yeah.
okay.
because you're gonna be the first person that people are gonna see.
Yeah, and you're gonna be the first name on the caption.
Oh,
Right? So
okay. Wow.
like if for if you're into like promotion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go all the way to the right because you're gonna be the first name that shows up on the paper or in the caption or whatever. So it's sort of the same kind of thing, right? It's like, and you're going to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
And then come up with a with a weird take or a different take. Carrot cake. Oh, that's your favorite. What? Carrot cake? More than chocolate cake? Right?
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
That
what I
is
am looking forward to is on Survivor 45, when there is a reward. You know how people like mouth out like what Jeff says, right? Like
Mm.
the tribe has spoken. Like Zach Wurtenberger, when he walked in and Jeff was doing the monologue, and this is fire, and fire represents your life, and he was
Mm.
like mouthing it. Like I'm waiting for when people start mouthing that, like maybe Survivor 46, right? It's like the sanctuary, and then like he cuts to somebody going, "Where good things happen," like like
Oh my
mouthing
god.
it. Oh, that would be such a meta joke.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, any other lows?
Can I the after show for its effect on Carolyn?
There's after shows affecting Caroline.
Yeah,
Mm.
like you know, um, this is sort of the criticism of the after show,
Mm.
right? Like here you have two people um that didn't win the million. Uh, they I you're not supposed to say this, right? Like, because Owen, when he said I lost, like everybody's like, no, no, you didn't lose. But like, really, people
Mm.
lost Survivor,
Yeah.
and you're asking them to relive that moment, or you're prolonging that moment,
Mm-hmm.
for an additional like 30 45 30 40 minutes of television or whatever. Like, yeah, I get it's raw and all of that, but the toll that it took specifically on Carolyn, because she was, in her exit press, when asked about it, she was like, no, it absolutely sucked. Like,
Mm.
she knew that her final tribal performance could have been better, and here comes the Survivor after show where she's processing that, and I don't care how good Jeff Probst is, there's no way that you can properly process um
What just happened?
what just happened for Carolyn and Heidi, while at the same time processing what's happening for Jam Jam.
Mm.
Like, that's 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 horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carolyn has said as much. Like, it was a horrible experience. At the very least, let them go to Ponderosa, eat, have their, this is my Ponderosa, have a shower,
Mm-hmm.
get them to take a shower or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe have
That would
like
have been nice
Oreos and stuff.
if the after show was at Ponderosa.
Oh yeah, that would have been amazing, right? So
Yeah.
the after show as it currently exists, I like it in concept, but its execution doesn't seem to be good for the
The
players.
two non-winners, the two
Yeah,
losers. Although
yeah, or second and third place,
the second
second
and
and
third
third
place, but
place.
yeah, I mean, they do still receive something, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
money.
who gets to merge, is it right, Marts? Everyone who gets to merge gets something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like 100,000 and
Uh-huh.
80,000 or something for like second and
Yes.
third respectively, so somewhere there.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
it
then again,
isn't.
it's
It
still
isn't.
not $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
And
for
that feeling that you you just lost. I mean, yeah, not more
yeah,
than the money, you lost you basically lost the game.
yeah, because like we are in the era of super fans, right? The super fans, just as important as the money is, um, you know, the title
Mm.
of Soul Survivor, right? It's like, you know, if it were any of us on this podcast, if somebody gave us the option between $1 million and the title of Soul Survivor, like, in a heartbeat, give me the $1 million. Thank
Mm.
you
Yeah.
very much, Mr. CBS guy. But for like for the Survivor super fan, given a binary choice between $1 million and the title of Soul Survivor, they'd probably still take the million, but they would stop and think about it.
Mm.
Because that title of Soul Survivor means something
Yeah.
to the person that goes out and plays, you know. So, like, it isn't necessarily about the money. It is, like you mentioned, the fact of having been so close,
Yeah.
and coming just short, and like having to process that is hard enough, but doing it while under, that pressure, that um under the television lights, right, under the bright lights. Yeah.
under
I
the
don't know.
bright lights of the torches in the gargoyles that
Mm.
didn't have anything to do with the game.
Yeah.
Or the sword and shield.
Yeah.
So I like that idea though. Like they go to Ponderosa to do the after show, and then they have a reunion show, like a
With the
month later.
entire
So yeah,
Yeah.
group of castaways. Yeah, that would have been nice.
yeah. What Jeff has said as much, right? Like, just because there's an after show doesn't mean that they're not open to having a reunion. But
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, they should. They should bring that back.
yeah. Even
They
if it's
should.
over Zoom, whatever.
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah. So I mean, if they're cutting costs because it costs to bring people together, right? So yeah, do it over Zoom.
yeah. I want to hear what like um I want to hear what Helen has to say, for example.
I want to hear what Sarah has to say about what Carolyn did. The Red
Yeah.
X, right?
Yeah, because um I'm sure that like that would have been a vote for Carolyn in the same way that when Danny walks in, it's like for sure he's voting for Heidi.
Mm.
Regardless of the outcome, like that might be another vote that was locked from the beginning if she somehow found out that it was Carolyn, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you, what are your other lows?
I actually have very minor lows, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, the edit with Lauren, because they had this whole edit with Lauren looking for the idol one last time, and it didn't have a payoff.
Yeah.
Right? They had that very suspenseful. It seemed as if Lauren was just starting to look up, and
Yeah.
then in the end, it didn't have a payoff. So yeah, well, it's what happened in the game, but yeah, did they need to put it in maybe to add a little bit of suspense in the final five tribal? But yeah, that's a just a small low for me. Yeah,
The payoff was Jeff.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. I don't have anything.
I don't know that. Yeah.
That's that's a very small. It's a nitpick. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it just goes to show how much I also I really like this final episode, this finale. Yeah, my biggest gripe was really just them shoehorning Sanctuary where good things happen every opportunity that they could get. Yeah.
Here's a meme sort of low, a meme
Mm.
low, and this is the same sort of low that I was listening to Zach Wertenberger and Rob Sesternino earlier. There was no payoff for the aqua dump.
Mm.
Like, just even if it was just like even if it was just like a shot of Jam Jam coming out of the ocean and being like, I took an aqua dump, guys, or like, after breakfast, he was like, all right, now I have to go poop in the ocean or something,
Okay.
like
I was
like
gonna
that.
listen to that episode. But yeah, I'm about to start that. But I gotta ask, since you listened to that rap episode, a previous episode that talked about the aqua dump or fecal related thing, do you think Jam Jam broke the curse of that thing? Because remember, the last guy who talked about the aqua dump was voted out early.
I mean, Jam Jam won, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
guess
you
he broke
think
the
that
curse.
broke the curse?
Yeah, it's sort of like Marianne also broke a curse or something
Mhm.
with like the orange tribe. She broke the orange tribe
Oh,
curse.
snap. Right. That's cool. Wow, this new era is actually breaking a lot of curses.
The only one that has yet to remain unbroken is the car.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Car curse.
Because there's no car reward in the past 3 seasons.
They
I
don't have
hope
any
there will be.
car sponsors anymore for now.
Yeah.
It
Sadly.
lives on in Australian Survivor. Simon
Yes,
didn't
it
make
does.
it, right?
Oh, shit.
Like
Oh yeah, that
they
was
had,
Simon, right?
Whoa.
yeah.
And then that was also, was it the episode that he got? No, it wasn't. It wasn't the
No,
episode that he
he's
got
Not
voted
yet.
out.
It doesn't have to be the episode. It's just you're definitely
You're
not
not
gonna
gonna
win.
Not
win.
gonna win.
Because
If
you
you
already
win the
have a
car.
car. Why would you
Oh,
need
damn.
$1 million?
Even in
Yeah.
other survivors, the curse lives on.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was I remember, Joel, that was one of the things that I like messaged you directly after the episode. Like, does the car curse apply in Survivor or in Australian Survivor?
I guess it does.
And I was like, I think I don't quite know, because that was actually the first, that was the first season that I've ever watched. No, was it?
Mm.
Yeah, it was the first season I've ever watched of Australian Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Excuse me. So yeah, I'm getting some sniffles. Any other lows, Joe?
the fact that we have to wait another couple of months until the next
Oh.
season of
Well,
Survivor.
of Survivor US,
Yeah.
but I heard that Australian Survivor is coming out soon.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
we'll have that to tide us over. So Martz, you might want to finally get into that.
Might.
Let me tell you, it's a little bit
Might.
more. It's more classic Survivor. They haven't gotten to the new era yet.
There's another like the thing with Australian Survivor is that some seasons can be amazing, but then other seasons can be like the most predictable thing ever, and like the most and yeah. So Australian Survivor is pretty much a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But hopefully the next season of Australian Survivor is going to be as good as the most recent Australian Survivor season.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna have to wait a couple of months.
Yeah.
Well, at least we have a couple of episodes of the Council of Titos planned out for the off season.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. Anyway,
in lieu of predictions.
There were predictions.
Okay, so yeah, if there are no more lows, I guess we can go ahead and talk about that. So after this finale episode, of course, we're gonna let's go first to our survivors of the week, and then we'll talk about what we've got planned later on. Yeah. So survivors of the week, I don't know if there's gonna be any. The only surprise that I can see here is our purples of the week. Anyway, castaway of the week. Who do you have, Joe?
Matt.
Ooh, why?
Because
he got Franny.
Because he got the episode. He got the episode title from the dead.
Absolute banger of a season.
It's like he got the episode title, and he wasn't even in the game.
Yeah, he got the girl too.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. All right. Castaway of the week for Zhao is Matt Blankenship. Who you got? Martz.
Obviously, the winner of
Arsa?
Survivor 44, Jam Jam.
Oh,
I don't have to say why. Maybe it's because of the $1 million prize.
Yeah. For me, the best performance really was Jam Jam, because of, especially that we were talking about it all over the highs. He won that final tribal. I think that was what clinched him the win. His performance during final tribal.
Yeah.
Like what you said, Joe, all things equal, if they had performed the same way, it would have been a split between him and Carolyn. Yeah. Goat of the week. Let's start with you, Martz. Who do you have as goat of the week?
Well, Heidi kind of bombed her final tribal compared to Carolyn, so I'd have to say Heidi. I'm sorry.
Why Heidi?
You just sucked ass in the final tribal. Do we have to say longer? Do we have to? That was like us expecting a banger of a match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg in WrestleMania 20, and all we had was, it's that bad.
Actually, I'm gonna say that was so sad. It was like she said, like, yeah, this was my move, and Jam Jam was like, nope.
No. It's so bad.
We made you think. We made you think that way, but nope.
And from then on, like her final tribal performance just started going downhill.
Yeah. And And for me, she tried to be. I mean, the jury did say that they wanted people fighting for the win, right? But
Yeah.
for me, she was a little bit too aggressive. She was, but she when Jam Jam was answering, she suddenly butt in, trying to, what trying to, what do you call this? Trying to lessen the effect of what Jam Jam was saying. But then again, Jam Jam was like, no, it's not true. It's
Yeah.
not true. I think that was the one where she was talking about how they were actually where the Carson was actually the brains of the Tika trio.
Yeah.
And then Jam Jam was like, no, that's not real, right? She
Yeah.
had a lot of times she tried to butt in, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
those times
Oh yeah.
she was rejected.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and all of this, yeah, she tried to manage
Yeah.
the jury as well. All of this. Thank you
Other
for
guy.
that question. That's such a beautiful question. That's
yeah.
a great question to ask. All of that was just so. Oh gosh, she's
Very
patronizing.
that was very old school Survivor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was very old school in that way. But
Yeah.
yeah.
but yeah, I can see where Mart's is coming from.
Okay, last we've got purple of the week. What do you have for purple of the week? Let's
Wait, man,
start.
I have to give my goat of the
Wait,
Oh,
week.
I got
you
this
haven't given
goat.
your go. So sorry. Go to the week.
Jamie done dirty yet again. She better come back for returning season. She better win.
Yeah.
And stick it to the editors, man.
Yeah, poor Jamie. Poor woman. Well, at least she's still very optimistic about it. Still thinks that she had everything under control. Uh,
Apparently, she played a much better game than the show gave her credit
apparently,
for.
yeah.
So
But yeah, it really is the editors who did her in.
yeah,
Yeah. All right, so let's go to purple of the week. Let's start with you, Marts.
Sorry, Jamie. It's you. Again, the editors are giving her like flag. Like, you don't even give her much screen time already in the final tribal. I feel like, again, I feel bad for Jamie. Dear God. Dear God.
yeah.
What
Like,
about you,
whoa.
Joe?
The Aquadump.
The aquadump. We didn't have the aquadump. Yeah. For me, this is gonna tread into season review waters, not aquadump waters. But yeah, for me, the purple of the week were the payoffs to everything. Uh, there was no payoff for Lauren. There was no payoff for for the entire season. I mean, the payoffs of all the twists and edits. We didn't get a payoff for. Well, we sort of got a payoff for the false idol for that Jamie had because Jeff finally told
Yeah.
her, right? And we didn't get a flashback edit. So for me, yeah, the entire season we didn't get a flashback edit. We
Wow.
didn't get a Nasir, uh, Xander, none of those flashback edits for this season. So yeah, purple of the week, purple of the season, I guess. Payoffs. We didn't get any payoffs.
The purple of the season was Claire.
Wait, who's Claire?
The chief laziness officer. The one who sat out every challenge until she got voted out.
Oh snap! Okay, wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, yeah. I think Joe got that good.
Final
Wait.
thoughts on the finale, guys.
Good episode.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm
Good
happy
episode
because
to
of the
cap
results.
off the entire season.
Yeah,
Martin
definitely.
is happy because Jam Jam won.
Yeah.
Definitely within the top 4 of the new era.
Yeah, totally. Within the top 4.
Yeah, within the top 4 of the new era. Okay. Yeah. So.
Something we gotta talk about in the next episode.
Oh yeah. So
Where
the
does
next few
this
episodes.
rank within the
Yeah.
first
So
4
for the next few
seasons of the new
episodes,
era?
next few Council of Titos episodes, we're gonna first talk about the entire season 44. And then of course we're gonna take a look at what we expect for season 45. And then because another thing that we never got to pay off, the whole theme of the Dungeons and Dragons thing. Because of that, yeah, one of the episodes, one of the future Council of Titos episodes will uh feature us playing Dungeons and Dragons. So
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna run a game for Zhao and Martin.
A Survivor homebrew.
A Survivor homebrew. I already have a bit of an idea how to do it. So yeah, watch out for that, mga kalaro.
I hope it's this
And
weekend.
it's a different,
You know,
just
putting it
so
out
that we
there, putting it
can
out
say
there.
that this season 44, and or at least our season 44, our episodes on season 44 will have a little bit more payoff.
Yeah, hold up. I have to.
Oh. What you got?
You have your sword and shield. I have this.
There you go. The D20.
Oh.
The D20 from
no.
Zhao. What about you, Marts? Do you have dice? No. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
That's
not
fine.
that.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
We can download it in an app now. Apparently,
You know, but
Even
don't worry.
all the
There's
stats.
a
Yeah.
there's a way for us to roll those dice when
Yep.
we get to the game.
Do you have a mace?
Well, I have a CD of Mace, the 90s rapper.
Carolyn has a mace at home when she was a kid, right? So yeah. So anyway, that's what you can expect for the next couple of episodes as we await season 45.
We should also come up with like a tier list of the first of
the first 4. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We should, man.
And then-
New era survivors.
And then at the end of it,
Survivor seasons, and we can maybe also come up with who we want to see back aside from Bruce, who is already coming back for season 45.
45. He's back, baby.
Yeah, so I suppose those are the other episodes that we
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should,
So we are not gonna go off the air. We are gonna continue coming up with episodes for you guys. So keep on watching. So yeah, just in case, yeah, if you like this episode, hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel, and please subscribe to the channel. This channel actually has other episodes, other shows on it as well, focused on sports and other similar things. And for those of you who just want to listen to our voices as we talk Survivor and not have to look at our mugs, you can just catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Council of Titos and you'll find us there.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, this has been Chief Bistak Joel Parcon.
I'm Zhao.
This is Martin. I win.
We hope that you can still join us on the council again soon. Till then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.